Today marks 1 year since the Taliban took over Kabul as the government of Afghanistan collapsed. You're about to meet a woman who had to run for her life, leaving her husband and children behind. Many foreigners and the country's previous president had to get out of the country as the Taliban took control. A year later, the impact of that change is still being felt from the Middle East to Detroit. Paula Tutman talked to one woman who worked with the U.S. Army in Afghanistan. She's in Michigan now, but Paula, she still doesn't feel safe.
Yeah, no, and that's because her family is not safe. When she was hastily spirited out of Afghanistan for her own safety, she left behind her husband, 3 daughters under the age of 12, and a 2-month-old son. She sat down today to courageously talk to us about what it's been like for the last year. But when we found out the nature and the sensitive nature of the work she was doing for the U.S. government and its allies, and the fact that somebody from the Taliban could actually see her face and connect her with her family, we decided to conceal her identity so that we could keep her family safe. What is life like in America when your family is still in Afghanistan and the Taliban is looking for ways to punish you from afar?
She was informed that they were looking for you, for your children.
Here in Dearborn, she goes by the name Hasina. At the nonprofit Hope, Care and Beyond, she's one of many women from various countries who've become refugees. At this nonprofit, she's learning English and job readiness skills. But this time last year, she was one of the courageous women who worked alongside the U.S. Army, ferreting out the Taliban as they hid in buildings and identifying them for capture. For 4.5 years, she risked her life to help the U.S. and its allies. And when Kabul fell a year ago, she navigated a terrifying ordeal to get out alive.
They had a plane and they said, okay, all these people you get in, all those who were working with the army. So they got in, but then, there was such a fight going on. Everybody wanted to get on the plane.
तो हम सबको मार देते वो.
If we had stayed, they would have killed all of us.
While searching for her family, not sure if they'd found the right household, the Taliban still saw a different prize. Her daughters.
And they were trying to kidnap her daughters, and even they were trying to marry their daughter, those 13 and 12-year-old.
Her mother was able to sneak the children out of the country, but they still await paperwork to get to the United States, and her husband is still stuck in Afghanistan. Today she prepares to take a supervisory role, sewing for a local robotics firm. She hopes building a nest for the day she's reunited with her family, praying for that day, desperate for that day, but her heart remains heavy. Yes, she is physically safe, every part of her, except her heart.
So I'm okay here. I mean, but as if I'm not living. I am living, but I'm not living inside. I'm very sad and stressed because my family is not here, and I always think of them. So when they will come here, I will be happy. Right now, I'm living, I'm doing everything, but I'm not happy.
Yeah, so think about this. She hasn't seen her family in more than a year. And this is the way her fear and anxiety manifests. She gets something, and it sounds like adrenaline poisoning, Karen, where she has these bouts and her face breaks out and then it swells up. And she has these bouts for days at a time. And that's how her stress actually manifests. But still stoically, she's learning English. She's learning a craft. She's learning how to take care of her family in a different country, in hopes that her new country can get her family reunited with her here in Dearborn. That's what her year has been like, Karen.
Oh, what a terrifying ordeal, as you said, and the way she described it, physically safe, but her heart is broken. Paula, thank you very much for that report.
It's a lot.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah.